Hello, Leo, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of August 17th through the 23rd, and during that time, we'll have a waning crescent moon, and that's a really good time of surrender, rest, and healing. Good time to just let go, prepare for the new cycle that's coming up. You might want to, kind of reevaluate things. Look back on your past month. What would you do differently? What would you change this month? And then start to get ready to apply those things on the new moon, which starts on the 23rd. So keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. Your overall message for this reading, Leo, is nothing is yet set in stone. All right, this will be an intuitive general reading, Leo, excuse me, for the energies that you may or may not encounter this week. So of course, as always, please take what resonates for you and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And as I'm shuffling, I would like to say that my weekly reminder this week is that you get out into nature. Maybe take a walk, find a place to take a hike, a walk in the woods, or find a place where there's a beautiful water view or sunset view, sunrise view if you're a morning person. But just get out into nature and just, make yourself just really take the time to stop and connect. Sometimes that's, especially when we're in a time of surrender and rest, that nature is just such a good way to recharge your battery. You might even want to take your shoes off, get some grounding in if it's warm enough to do that where you are. I know we're still in the midst of summer here in the United States, and it's been so nice out. So it's been very rainy today, which is nice. We needed the rain. The weatherman has threatened rain for weeks and weeks, and it's just been so dry. So it was nice to have a little rolling thunderstorm that was light today. Of course, it just made me want to curl up and take a nap, which I did. I did that. So anyway, okay, without me rambling here, let's get right to the reading here, Leo. So August 17th through the 23rd. Nothing is yet set in stone. All right, your overall energy is the Hermit card. So it looks like, the surrender, rest, and healing of the moon is a good time for you this week with this Hermit card, because it's definitely about going inward, really thinking about your inner wisdom, making decisions based on that, on the things that you know. Sometimes it's things that you know for a reason that you've learned through your lifetime. Sometimes it's literally intuitive. It's just some wisdom that bubbles up from somewhere. I know when I was younger, I would know things and I really have no idea how I knew them. So, and where's that wisdom from? Is that you? Is that your higher self? Is that coming from God? Is it somehow inspired somewhere? But, sometimes wisdom is just there for a reason. So you need to stop and listen to it. Your current situation, Leo, is the Magician. Very nice. So, the wisdom to choose correctly. So that's very interesting here with the Magician. And that's the Magician saying, what do you want to change right now? This could be if you're coming out of a time where you've recently had a little accomplishment, if something's, usually that's kind of a success or an ending where the Magician's like, okay, what's next? What are we going to do next? Let me grab a drink here real quick. Water and ice. Clear my throat a little bit. So using your inner wisdom to make the right decision. And by right decision, it just means where do you need to make a change in your life? Is it in your emotional life? Is it in your financial or material world, or your passion world, or maybe in your intellect? So whatever that might be, you definitely have the skills to change it, Leo. You just need to focus on what that might be. And of course, we're coming up on this new moon on the 23rd. So, pick what area of your life and set out this month to make a change in that area. At the root of your situation is that maybe you're feeling a little stress and anxiety over something. And this could be any one of these areas of your life. Are you not making enough money? Are you not satisfied emotionally? Are you not satisfied with your whatever passion projects that you work on? Do you need to learn something? You're not satisfied intellectually, but one of these things is kind of keeping you up at night. One of those areas of life is just stressing you out a little bit, and it's making you kind of go within to ask yourself those hard questions. What is it that you want and need to change? In your recent past, as you're coming out of, this is coming out of a good place of balance and being inspired, and um, and just being very centered. So you're in a good spot. Again, sometimes this comes up if you have an accomplishment. Where you kind of accomplish something, and instead of just resting on your laurels, you're like, okay, what's next? And I kind of just get that feeling for you that you've had an accomplishment, and instead of just really relaxing and enjoying that at this time, you're already stressing about the next thing that's coming up, which that's kind of the way of Leo. So it's maybe just a little bit about your personality, but that's fine. Look around and be grateful for the things that you've accomplished also. Don't forget to do that. What is on your mind this week? Okay, is your ultimate happiness here with the 10 of cups. So it could be that it's your emotional life that you need to do some work on. Are you in a relationship right now? Do you need to work on that relationship? Are you not in a relationship and you need to, get out there in the world and meet some people and maybe work on that part? And if you're in a longer term relationship, do you need to kind of work on things to make sure that you're putting in your part and doing the things that contributes to the relationship? So all of those things you do need to think about. What is just ahead of you is the star card. All right. So, the star card to me is about stars to me are about direction. What direction are you moving in? And are you, it's a card of hope, but it's also about guidance, and it's about being drawn to something. When they say something is, it's written in the stars, and you're kind of drawn to something, you're not even sure why. But it's definitely, there's signs in the sky, but it's kind of that card of looking for some sort of clarity. And maybe you can't see it because stars come out at night. You can't always see, what exactly that is. But so make sure you're watching for synchronicities, watching for just little signs of things that, and again, if it's your emotional life, it could be if you're looking to meet someone, it could be that you're drawn to stop at a certain store that you don't normally stop at for some reason. Like, listen to the universe when it comes to that. You may be being guided in a certain direction and you're not even sure why. So just watch for those synchronicities there. All right. What is in your advice position is the Three of Wands. So this is our card of travel, new ventures. This is exciting. This is about passion. This is about it, like I said, going to a place that you don't normally go. Making the left turn instead of the right turn that you normally do. I love doing that. Sometimes my husband and I will get in the car and just for a day and get to spend a day together doing whatever we want, which is awesome. And we will do that. We'll say, okay, let's play left, right. And we will pull up to a light and say, well, which way are we going to go? And see who has the strongest feeling to go whichever direction. And we've ended up at some really great spots, to have a nice lunch or done some antiquing or just found something strange in the world that we didn't know was there, or, found something beautiful. So, that's if that's in your advice position, it's to maybe have that sort of openness for new ventures, right? To, again, take the left when you normally take the right. What is beyond your control this week is the King of Cups. So you are definitely knowledgeable about these emotional things. It's not something that escapes you. And again, if you're looking for someone new, you're knowledgeable there. You know what people want and need. If you're in a relationship, kind of the same thing. And because it's a king, it's not only that you understand yourself, but you do take time to understand, the emotions of other people around you and kind of how to react to that, and how to help care for them. So that's beyond your control, is to be that way. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid is you're feeling a little bit like an outsider. And I doubt if that's your secret desire. So I would say you're definitely trying to avoid that. Um, so think about that. That's kind of your big question of the week is, how do I not be such an outsider? If I'm feeling like an outsider, how do I turn that around for myself? And what ways do I make changes? Do I see what's written in the stars? Do I answer the question of the magician, which is, how do you want to move forward, and take the time to do that? Because ultimate happiness is on your mind. And if you're feeling a little bit like an outsider, that's not really on the plan there. So you need to figure out why. If you're trying to avoid feeling like that, why would you feel like that anyway? And your outcome position is the High Priestess, which, much like the star, This is about, your intuition. This can also be related to the hermit here. As you're going in for wisdom, like I said, sometimes you're not sure where that wisdom comes from. So, listen to not only yourself, but listen to the universe around you. Watch for signs, watch for synchronicities, because sometimes when you're at a crossroads like this, the universe will beckon you somehow with a book that falls into your lap, a person that you meet, a meeting that opens up that you need to go to, a friend that you meet at a concert. I mean, it's just all the different ways that your life can change in just a second, just by meeting someone or having some information come your way. So keep that in mind this week, Leo. What is hidden from you this week? Is your card, which is the Strength card. So, maybe that's where some of this anxiety comes from, that you're just not feeling as normally strong as you are for whatever reason. Again, I feel like you've maybe just accomplished something, and, there's a time when you're just kind of, I want to take a break right now. Again, with this Hermit card, kind of go within a little bit, rest, relax, which you can do that this week with the moon. But kind of your inner strength is maybe what's hidden from you this week. So that might keep you from being as adventurous as you might normally be. So just remember that that might be a little bit hidden from you this week. Maybe you're a little bit more vulnerable than confident that you usually are, Leo. So, all right, let's get a final word here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final word for Leo as they set out to make some changes here. Making some changes. All things in moderation. That's always good advice. And let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. Self-care for Leo this week. Whoops. If I can hang on to this deck. Self-care for Leo, August 17th through the 23rd. And the card that comes up here is the Growth card. And it says, evolution starts when you leave your comfort zone. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that is, like I was saying here with this, take the left instead of the right. Go to a place where maybe you would, maybe get out of your comfort zone just a little bit this week. Definitely be thankful for the things, but I feel like there might be some synchronicities and signs out there for you, as you're at a crossroads and you're maybe not sure exactly where to go next. Is there, just look and watch for the universe to tell you, because that's what the universe does. There's little breadcrumbs every day. I see them all the time. It tells you, yes, you're on the right path, or hey, come over this way, or look at this thing over here. So pay attention to those synchronicities and those happenings around you when you're making those decisions, Leo. So, Leo, I really appreciate your time here with me today. I hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use. Of course, if you're comfortable sharing, drop me a message down below and let me know, what things are you thinking about? Have you had some synchronistic things come in? Are you trying to make a decision on which way, what you want to change in your life next, what you're trying to work on or accomplish? But if you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop a comment down there. I do post readings every week, so come back next week and we'll see if this energy continues or if there's something completely different here for you. Also, if you like my reading style, of course, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel, but most importantly, it'll help you find me next week. So good luck with all of this, Leo. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.